What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Full 90. It is time for the Week 3 predictions of the Champions League. And oh my days, we had the best week ever in Week 2. We had 14 out of 16 correct results, and 2 of those were perfectly predicted score draws. I've predicted Dynamo Kiev's perfect score more times than most Premier League teams, and I've only predicted 2 Dynamo Kiev games this year. The action doesn't stop here. We are going to take a look at the Week 3 predictions as well, and I am buzzing. First things first, I have a massive announcement. This video is brought to you and sponsored by the OneFootball app. If you haven't heard about these guys, then I strongly recommend you go and check them out using the link in the description. It is totally free, and that link will take you to the Android or iOS store, and you can get all your football news over on that app. You can follow your favorite teams. I, of course, follow Arsenal, so whenever there's a breaking news story, recently it's been a lot about Arteta and Aubameyang and how he sees the future of the lineup. If you want to get updates on your favorite team, competitions, and breaking news all around the world, whether that's transfers or other news, then go down to the description below and check out the OneFootball app, because like I said, it's totally free, so there's no reason for you to not go and do that. Massive shout out to OneFootball for partnering with me on this Champions League prediction video. Now let's get straight into it. So like I said, there were 2 perfect score predictions from last week that I want to highlight. The Club Brugge 1-1 draw with Lazio. I was very impressed with that, because I think a lot of people would have looked at that and thought, Lazio, they just beat Borussia Dortmund convincingly. I'm going to go for a Lazio win, but I backed Club Brugge in their home form and got the score right. And after that, Ferencváros 2-2 draw with Dynamo Kiev. I cannot believe I pulled that one out the bag. Other notable predictions include Bayern Munich to win with both teams to score. That was a big one. The Shakhtar and Inter draw. The Real Madrid and Monchengladbach draw and both teams to score. I did say in the video I was going to go for 2-2, but I upped it to 3-3. So a little bit frustrating that I did do that. But there were some other really good results in there. Liverpool to win to 0. PSG and Man City to win with a -1 handicap. There were so many good predictions in last week's video. So hopefully we can continue that form today. Kicking it off, we have Lokomotiv Moscow up against Atletico Madrid. Now, Atletico Madrid, they're not the defensive unit that they have been in recent seasons. You know, I predicted that Atleti would beat Salzburg with both teams to score, and they did. They've been doing it a few times in La Liga, whereas traditionally they'd have low-scoring 1-0, 2-0 wins here and there. But Atletico Madrid are away from home against Lokomotiv Moscow, which might be a little bit of a difficult place to go, as we saw, because Bayern Munich had a little bit of a scare for a second, but eventually got their 13th consecutive Champions League win, winning 2-1 away from home. So I think Atletico Madrid are a good enough team to win this game. They're a strong enough team to win this game, but it's going to be very difficult. So I'm going to go for the same sort of narrative, 2-1 to Atletico Madrid. The next fixture, it's Shakhtar Donetsk up against Borussia Monchengladbach in what is becoming very rapidly the most exciting group in the Champions League. I'm sure United fans would have something to say about that. Obviously, their group is very exciting too, but this has been incredible because we've seen Real Madrid, they're propping up the table at the moment at the bottom of the group, and if it weren't for their 2 late goals, they would have had 0 points after their first 2 games in the Champions League this season. So it's all to play for. Will Real Madrid qualify? Let me know down in the comments below. But for Shakhtar Monchengladbach, I see this game going very similarly to the Shakhtar Real Madrid game and the Monchengladbach Real Madrid game. I'm going to combine those 2 games. I think it's going to be high scoring because both of these teams are attacking powerhouses. You know, they have frailties at the back occasionally. Monchengladbach especially, they just love to outscore teams. So I'm going to go for a high scoring 2-2 draw once again in the group of goals. Next up after that, we have Atalanta up against Liverpool. Now, Liverpool have welcomed Alisson back to the squad, which is great news for them. Obviously, Van Dijk, I won't keep saying in every video, but he is out for a very long time. You guys already know that. Atalanta, they managed to get 2 late goals to claw back a 2-2 draw with Ajax. This was one of the 2 predictions out of last week that I got wrong, but I did in fairness only get it wrong by a goal, saying that Atalanta would win 2-1. So I do think Atalanta are a really good side, and the odds for a lot of goals in this game naturally are quite low. But funnily enough, I actually don't think there are going to be that many goals. Atalanta are really good going forward. They're really good going forward. And so are Liverpool. And I think they're both going to be aware of that. So just something in the universe, in my body, is telling me a lower scoring draw. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I see both teams scoring in this fixture 100%, and it could be 3-2 to one of them. But I'm just going to go for a 1-1 draw. Something is pointing me in that direction. Next up, we have Porto up against Marseille. Marseille were soundly beaten by Manchester City. Kevin De Bruyne back in the squad, looking good. And Porto got a very, very good win in the previous week over Olympiakos, as predicted as well. So this is a very important game. I think if Porto win this one, they're as good as qualified, in my opinion. And I think they are going to win this one. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 home win to Porto. The next fixture, this one is going to be absolutely mental. It's FC Salzburg up against Bayern Munich. I obviously predicted Salzburg to score against Atletico Madrid and lose in the last week, and they did. I predicted Bayern Munich to concede in the last week to Moscow and win, and they did. So I've got a pretty good grasp of these two teams. I think both teams will score once again, but I think ultimately Bayern Munich is going to make it win number 14. Lewandowski, I should say, is in absolute red hot form. So I'm going to go for just a crazy scoreline. I'm going to go for 4-2 to Bayern Munich. I think that's going to be a very exciting game to watch. Now, speaking of exciting, probably not this game. I'm going to go, it's Manchester City up against Olympiakos. Olympiakos often resolute in their defence, but Man City, a different kettle of fish when it comes to opponents for Olympiakos. So similar to how Liverpool beat Milan 2-0, and Liverpool are by far a better team, but it overall wasn't an absolute thrashing. I'm going to go for a similar result here. I'm going to say that Man City beat Olympiakos 2-0. I think it's going to be just a clinical victory, nothing too spectacular. Based on how Olympiakos play, they're a decent team, so they shouldn't get thumped, but you never know what could happen. Next up after that, we have Midtjylland up against Ajax. Now, Midtjylland, they're an all-right team. They had their chances against Liverpool. I say all-right in terms of Champions League standard. Domestically, they're fantastic, and they have been having some high-scoring games lately. So I think when you're playing an Ajax side who recently won 13-0, you're going to see goals in this game, and Ajax will feel very upset that they didn't get the 3 points against Atalanta, and that means they have something else to prove, a job to do. I think Midtjylland are going to score, but I'm giving Ajax the victory 3-1. The next fixture, it is Real Madrid up against Inter Milan in the battle for the Europa League spot. Real Madrid in 4th, Inter Milan, I believe, in 2nd, and my oh my, what a game this could be. Now, obviously there was the drama with Karim Benzema in the tunnel, and it's just, I'd have no idea what to expect from Real Madrid. I really don't, but I do think at home they should have enough to beat Inter Milan. I really do rate Inter Milan. I can't see them winning away from home at Real Madrid. I just can't see it. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Real Madrid, but again, as I've said in this video, anything is possible. Next up, it is Istanbul Basaksehir up against the informed team of Europe, Manchester United. United coming off of a 5-0 win against RB Leipzig. Nobody saw that coming, and I mean nobody, okay? People might have predicted United to win, but by 5-0, nobody has called that, I guarantee it. But either way, what a fantastic performance. Istanbul, they were comfortably beaten in the end by PSG. It was 2-0, and I believe Neymar did go off with an injury. I don't currently know the status of that situation, but I think Istanbul are going to find a way to get a goal in this fixture. Not a lot about Manchester United's defensive performances in the Champions League really points towards that. They've been fairly sound defensively, and even in the Premier League, they've not looked too bad if we forget the Spurs performance, but something tells me somehow the honeymoon phase of Man United is going to end for about 10 seconds in this game when Istanbul score, and then it's going to be normal service resumed in Europe for them. And I think Manchester United are going to get the win, and I'm going to go for 3-1 away from home, pretty much securing their qualification at this point, being on 9 points after the opening 3 games. The next game is Zenit St. Petersburg up against Lazio in another very tightly contested group. Other than Man City's group, it's all pretty tightly contested, to be honest, and I cannot separate the two teams. Lazio just coming off the draw with Club Brugge. Then it's in Petersburg, obviously got beaten by Borussia Dortmund, so I think you'd expect Borussia Dortmund to beat Zenit, as I did in my previous video, but I think this is going to be another low-scoring 1-1 draw for Lazio. I can just see it happening, so I'm going to go for 1-1 between the two teams. The next fixture, it is Barcelona up against Dynamo Kiev. Now, as I said, I have got a 100% perfect score record with Dynamo Kiev, correctly predicting Juventus to beat them 2-0 and them to draw 2-2 with Ferencvaros. So Long may that streak continue. 100% correct score. That's absolutely unreal. I'd settle for correct result, but Barcelona are going to win this game. They just are. The question is, by what scoreline? I think Dynamo Kiev are going to score. Obviously, Barcelona, when they beat Ferencvaros in week 1, they also conceded a consolation. So I see that happening here. Not quite as big a defeat as they did against Ferencvaros. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Barcelona. Long live the 100% streak. Let's get it done. Next up, it is Chelsea up against Rennes. Chelsea dispatching of Krasnodar 4-0, and Rennes losing to Sevilla in a low-scoring game, as I predicted in both cases. So I think this is going to be a pretty routine fixture for Chelsea. They're finally looking to gel. Ziyech got his first goal with his first start under Frank Lampard, which will definitely, give him the confidence that he needs to go forward and become the player that we've all seen him as at Ajax. So I think Chelsea are going to win this one convincingly, especially at home. I'm going to go for a 3-0 win. The next one, I was very, very tempted to pick a draw. It is Club Brugge up against Borussia Dortmund. And Dortmund, obviously you'd expect them to win at home against Zenit St. Petersburg. But Club Brugge at home are a very, very good team. And that is what led me to get the correct 1-1 score prediction between Club Brugge and Lazio. It's Club Brugge's home performances. And also Dortmund don't travel as well as they play at home like most teams. But Dortmund really don't travel that well. So I was very, very tempted to go for a 1-1 draw. But then I kept looking at Dortmund. I kept looking at Club Brugge. I looked back at Dortmund's attacking lineup, and I think they just have to find a way to win. I'll be kicking myself if it is a draw, but I'm going to give Dortmund and their squad the benefit of the doubt and go for a very close 2-1 away win. The next fixture, it is Ferencvaros up against Juventus, and I think I'm going to change my prediction. I originally had 2-0 to Juventus, similar to the fixture against Dynamo Kiev, and I suppose if Ferencvaros and Dynamo Kiev draw, then maybe Juventus could get a 2-0 win over Ferencvaros like they did against Dynamo Kiev, but I'm going to go for a 1 goal more. I think Juventus, they obviously just lost to Barcelona. They really need to ensure they get this win, so they'll be looking for goals. I'll go for a 3-0 win to Juventus. Coming up after that, one of the games of the week, it is RB Leipzig up against PSG, and this is another tough one to predict. I wanted to go for a draw. I really, really did, but I went for a draw with RB Leipzig, giving them the benefit of the doubt against Manchester United, and I was thoroughly let down. United absolutely crushed them. As I said, Neymar did go off for PSG in the game, and I don't know if he'll be back from injury, but either way, I think PSG should have enough to beat Leipzig. Obviously, this was the semi-final of the Champions League last year, and PSG were worthy, convincing winners. So, again, it's so tough. This could be a Leipzig win if PSG capitulate, but they don't tend to do that in the group stage. They usually save that for the latter stages. So I really am not sure on this game. I'm going to go for a 2-1 away win to PSG, but this is one I'll be watching with an eagle eye to see how this goes. And the final fixture, it is Sevilla up against Krasnodar. Sevilla, the specialists. Home form, absolutely electric. Defense, solid as a rock. I'm going to go for another 2-0 prediction for Sevilla to win this one at home. So that is going to do it for my week 3 predictions. Please do get your week 3 predictions down in the comments below. And as I said, massive shout out to OneFootball for sponsoring this video and teaming up with me over here on the Full 90. So you can go and check them out by using the link in the description. It's free, so you might as well go and do it. But that is all from me. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe so you don't miss another one. And I will see you in the next one very soon.